Gee, I wonder what I missed. Ah! So Bang Dream, World, Abyssal Set, and Star Wars are out. Holy shit, I missed a lot. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna try to play catch up with the Star Wars cards, because that's actually kind of the most interesting set out of all of them. And I'm just gonna talk about the ones I like. So the first card we're going to talk about is Smuggler Han Solo. He has a 3/2 yellow, a New Hope character. And his first ability is you discard a character from your hand, and when it declares an attack, he gains plus 2,000 and 1 soul until the end of the turn. That's pretty fucking tight. Its last ability is that the turn that it is played, if damage dealt to your opponent by this card is cancelled, you send the top card of your deck to the waiting room, and then you deal X plus 1 damage to your opponent, where X is the level of the card. And then you plus 1. So if you get a climax that is a 0, counts as a 0, so you'll be doing 1 point of damage. So you're guaranteed at least 1 shot of damage. And this cost is super easy. You just send the top card of your deck to the waiting room. Up next is Force Sensitive Leia. She's a yellow 0/0, and that's kind of a weird name. And she's a Return of the Jedi character. She is plus 500 forward as an assist, and you take 1 point of damage and you rest this card and you can search your deck for a level 1 or lower character. It's not specific on the type, so you can literally get anything, as long as it's level 1 or lower. Here's the fucking Death Star. It's a 3/4 event, and when you have 4 or more climaxes, you discard a red character. That's specific, and then you can nuke the entire field. All characters are sent to the waiting room. It is pay for, it is kind of steep, but holy hell, you play this, fill up your field with low-cost characters, then you throw in a, I don't know, Star Killer climax, and then you swing for game. Star Killer gives plus 2 soul to all your characters. Here we have the Dark Lord of the Sith, Darth Vader. He is a 3/2 red Empire Strikes Back character. He does have a climax combo, but first, on play you draw 2 and you ditch 1. His force ability is pay 1, discard 1 character. During the start of your climax phase, you may pay the cost. If you do, choose 2 of your opponent's characters, stand them, and swap their positions. That's pretty fucking tight. They do need to be rested, but, still good and kind of standard in Star Wars. His climax combo is you pay 2, discard 1 card. When this card attacks and the climax I am your father is in your climax border, you may pay the cost. If you do, you deal 1 damage to your opponent, and this card gets plus 2,500 power in the following ability until the end of the turn. Auto, when this card reverses its opponent in battle, you may deal 1 damage to your opponent. All this damage can be cancelled, of course. Gee, that's a lot of stock. Well, the climax is a red stock soul, so there is that, and what that means is that you get a red card, throw it on your stock, all your characters get a soul. Now, you don't need to use the force ability, so you can save your stock for the climax combo, and you will have a hand because you're gonna draw, maybe you clock, and then you do have its on-play ability that lets you draw 2, then, ditch 1. So you do 1 damage just for declaring the attack, and then you do have the 2 base soul damage, and then the climax does give it an extra soul. So you are currently at 4, and let's say you triggered an extra soul, that's 5, and then when you reverse an opponent's character, that's 6. In a perfect world, this would all come together. Well, here's the thing, you declare the attack, that's 1 block. Damage calculation, it does include the soul trig that you triggered, so that's another block. And then when you reverse a character, that's its own separate block. So there are 3 chances that it can be canceled, but this is still a pretty good chance that one of them is gonna stick. This combo is, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Here's Billy D. Williams. He is a yellow 1/1 Empire Strikes Back character. If you have 3 or more yellow characters, that's specific. He does go up to 7,500, which is pretty good, and he does have a yellow card encore, which is you discard a yellow card from your hand just so you could rest them back up if it gets reversed. And cue the Colt 45 commercial.
I've always heard about the power of Colt 45, but I was never sure exactly what that meant, so I got some, found out for myself.
Hey, Billy, you free tonight?
Works every time.
The dynamite taste of Colt 45. It works every time.
Here is Kylo Ren. He is a 3/2 red Force Awakens character, and he's an okay level 3, honestly. He gets plus 500 for every red character, so he can go up to 11, not counting the back row support and if you have a full field. And the character directly opposite of this card gets -1 soul, which is actually pretty good. When you reverse an opponent in battle, you pay 2 and you deal 1 point of burn damage. And at the start of the climax phase, you could pay 1, ditch a character from your hand, and you could, do the whole force thing. Like I said, it's okay. And here's the card that could turn that Kylo Ren into an early drop. So here's an Inherited Will Kylo Ren and Stimpy. He is a red 2/1 Force Awakened character. This card does have a climax combo where the cost is you have to send this card on the field to the waiting room, and when this card reverses its opponent in battle and the climax show me is on your climax border, you may pay the cost. If you do, choose up to one character from your waiting room, return it to your hand, then choose up to one Kylo Ren from your hand, specifically this one, and you can play it onto the original board that this card is in rest. So you can't attack with it, that's the drawback. So you get rid of this card when it reverses a character, you get a character from your waiting room to your hand, and then you can play the 3/2 Kylo Ren on the field where this card was. Now, if you don't have the 3/2 Kylo Ren, just get it from your waiting room and then you play it. Also, it's an anti-change suicider. Here's the climax show me. You draw a card, one character gets plus 2,000 power and a soul, and you get 2 soul when you trigger it. I don't want to talk about Crime Lord of the Desert Jabba or the climax Jabba's Palace. I just want to show you the fucking atrocious art. And I know this art's supposed to be like that vintage 70s movie poster sci-fi feel, but it's still pretty fucking ugly. And don't look at me that way, Jabba. Here's a card that's actually neat. Han Solo. It's a yellow 0/0 Return of the Jedi character. He is a runner. Ha! And when you have 3 or more climaxes in your waiting room, on play he will heal. Here's a pretty neat engine. It's the Millennium Falcon. It's a 2/2 yellow event, and when you play it, you get Wookiee Chewbacca and Rescue Operation Han Solo onto the field, and this card gets sent to the memory. Each of the cards does get plus 3,000 whenever the Millennium Falcon is in the memory, and when the other card is on the field, they each get plus 3,000. Like, if Han Solo's on the field, Chewie gets 3,000, Chewie's on the field, Han Solo gets 3,000. Kind of reminds me of the Chain Chronicle trial deck cards. If you guys don't know what it is, it's these 2 cards right here. So Chewbacca does go up to 11,500 and yellow discard encore where you have to discard a yellow card. Doesn't matter what kind, just a yellow card. And it, gets an encore. Han Solo is at 10 with 2 soul, and when it reverses a level 2 or higher character, you send the top card of your deck to your stock. And that's actually pretty good. Here's Admiral Akbar. He is a 2/2 yellow. I don't care what he does, but his flavor text is it's a trap. So automatically, he is needed in every Star Wars deck. You need at least 4 of these. Now let's talk about Luke Skywalker. He is a 3/2 blue New Hope character, and on play you do heal, and on play you do get a lightsaber from your waiting room, which is an event that we're gonna talk about in a bit. And you get that card and you set it underneath this card as a marker. And usually when cards get a marker, they get a fucking crazy ability. So the ability that Luke Skywalker gets is you pay 2, you discard a blue character, and then you can only use this ability once per turn. When this card's battling opponent is reversed and you have a New Hope in your climax area and this card has a marker underneath it, you get to stand this card. I don't think I need to say any more. This card's actually, pretty decent. But like, what if you don't have a lightsaber in your waiting room? I mean, it is a level 3, so you might not have a waiting room. That's why we have this R2-D2 here. His other abilities aren't necessarily that important. They're right here if you want to read them. But the effect that matters is that you get to rest this card and you choose this Luke Skywalker, and for the turn it does get plus 2,000. And if he doesn't have a marker underneath it, you get to search your deck for one lightsaber. You put it underneath Luke Skywalker as a marker, and then you shuffle your deck. So there you go. You have a way to get the marker from the waiting room or from the deck. And the lightsaber is actually pretty good itself. It's a 1/0 event. And it is a backup, but if you have 2 or less blue characters on the stage, you can't play it. And you draw 2, and you get a discard 2, and then you choose one character, and it gets plus 2,000. It is a backup, and you do get to filter out your hand as well. Here we have Rey Speeder. It's a 2/2 blue event, and if you don't have a Force Awakens character on the stage, you cannot play this. You choose one card in your clock, add it to your hand, then you send this to your memory. You heal, and you get a resource, and you compress your deck. The last card we're going to talk about is this 2/1 blue event, AT-AT, and its effect states, choose one of your characters. This turn it gets plus 1,500 power. Send the top card of your deck to the waiting room. If that card is level 1 or higher, choose one of your opponent's characters and put it at the bottom of their deck. That's right, from anywhere and any level. Castell would be proud. And here are the signed cards. They're not really signed cards, they're Star Wars rare cards. And what they did is that it's just like really shiny gold foil. I really like that Darth Vader one. That Darth Vader climax looks pretty good. And yeah, those are the cards that I thought were pretty interesting. And I did skip like a lot of cards because they were... Bushiroad was hammering us with these cards of the day. They posted like 7 Star Wars cards on top of all like the Love Live Sunshine and then the fucking Vivid Strike. And I had to be really selective. I skipped a lot, like there's some good Finn combos, there's the Max Rebo bands, I skipped a lot of those. Not that they're not good or interesting, I just did want to try to compress this video like as much as I can because I did miss about like 3 weeks of cards. And yeah, most likely I am considering getting a booster box, but I want to talk to one of my friends because he's more of a Star Wars guy than I am. I'll see if I could convince him to get a box with me, and hopefully I'll be opening it because I am kind of interested in the set. I do kind of want to build a Jabba the Hutt deck, just to, just one of those ding-dong decks that I want to build. And yeah, I'm going to start card of the day again, so expect your YouTube feed to be filled with my ugly face. And I'll see you guys later.